We can go claim by claim.
Yeah, you see, the problem I see is I see contradictions in the Bible, and that makes me think, how can anybody rely on any of it? If there are bits that are, you know, just so contradictory, they barely, you know, they just, like, how can you possibly get this so different, and yet all trying to be saying this is the same story? It's like, no.
It's not that different. Like, one of the biggest ones that gets attacked is Judas killing himself, right? But actually, there's some interesting apologetics to explain that. Like they're not that different.
For me, it's the resurrection of Jesus. That's the one that just says this is bogus to me.
So the one that would make it supernatural.
No, it's just the stories, the story in the gospel itself. You know, if you look at Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, okay, how many women went to anoint the body? 1, 2, 3, or more than 3? Because those 4 options I just gave you are the 4 different stories in the gospels. Mary Magdalene went on her own. Mary Magdalene went with
it never ever says Mary Magdalene went on her own.
It said Mary Magdalene. It said Mary Magdalene went to anoint the body of Jesus.
Yeah, and she did in every single one of the accounts.
Okay.
Except for in some of the accounts she was with others, and in the first account where she was by herself, it never said she was by herself. It just only said her name.
Yes, it only said her name. Why? Were the other people not relevant?
Well, it's probably, well, there's numerous things that could be said about that. Perhaps the author, like, for example, if I go to somewhere with somebody, I might just leave out who I was with. I just like, hey, I went here. If they don't think it was significant to what they were trying to convey, they don't need to write every single name of everyone that was present. Some people may have felt the obligation to do so, or so on and so forth. Some people may have felt the need to highlight a couple other people. But I don't see that as a contradiction. It would only be a contradiction to say that Mary went to the tomb alone, and then in another one she didn't go alone. But it never says that. It just says Mary, and then in another one it talks about Mary and a few others that were with her. So I mean, there's no, that one of all the things isn't even a contradiction.
Yep. And then the next bit, and that's when it gets crazy, because in Matthew, it's in 2 of them, I can't remember which one it is. I think it's Mark and Luke, and it says something along the lines of, you know, they get to the tomb and they find the rock has been pushed aside, okay, and then in Matthew it says, oh, there's an earthquake and an angel descends and pushes the rock out of the way. Now, I don't know about you, but those are quite different. You know, to use your analogy, but you and a friend went somewhere, or you went on your own, or whatever. You know, you didn't mention the other person. Okay, if I went to a football match, and afterwards I came out, and there's like 2 or 3 of us, or 4 of us, or whatever, however many people. Okay, so there's me and my mate or mates. And what happens is we come out and we there's a car doing donuts and some people waving out the window shouting, "Yay, our team won," or whatever. Okay. Now, if someone asks, "Oh, how many people?" and one person says, "Oh, there was 1," and another one says there's 2, and another one says, "Oh, Big Bird was leaning out the window," and nobody else mentioned Big Bird hanging out the window. It's like, what? Wait a second.
Really?
That's quite an extraordinary claim.
You know, my husband and I could go to the same house party and have the same people at the house party talk to the same situation. And when you ask us about the house party, we will tell you different things about the house party, and we will focus on different people. Does that mean that we're contradicting each other?
Well, yeah, but the difference is, though, that's a fairly mediocre thing. You know, did you see Batman fly through the window?
But I'm talking about truth. Is the truth of it that we went to the house party? I might talk about the ambience. I might talk about, you know, getting into more of a serious conversation with 3 or 4 people. He will talk about everybody, what they're wearing, how hot it was, the kind of music that was playing, and what we were eating. Like,
Yeah.
and he might focus on who's the funniest. I might focus on who's the best conversationalist. Either way, it doesn't mean that one of us is lying.
No, I'm not suggesting lying in your case, because, you know, these are not extraordinary things. But there's a difference between turning up at a tomb and finding the rock is already out of the way and an angel descending from the sky. You know, if you were to say, oh, it was a good party and we had some good food and we chatted to some friends, and your husband said, oh, and by the way, Batman flew through the window, you know, that would be... Wait, didn't you notice Batman too, Deirdre? You know? No,
I don't
didn't
think
see
you've read these in a while, obviously, by what you're saying. So you're saying like some things that are true, and then you're making a mistake probably because you just haven't been acquainted with this stuff in a while. But so in one account, they go there. There's guards standing outside the tomb. There's an earthquake. The rock moves. They go inside. There's an angel inside. Another one, they go. The rock's already been removed as they walk up. And then another one, they go up there, and I'm trying to think, but there was never one where an angel rolled the rock away. That never happened in any of the Gospels.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you can find it right now, I'll give you $100.
Okay, fine.
It doesn't exist.
Yep, here we go. Give me a second. Oh, wrong one. Bible Gateway. It's Matthew.
I hope Shamos wins so he can buy a new mic. I'm just throwing that out there. It really it sounds like you're talking through a
angel
scarf.
never. Oh, sorry, I'm on a mobile device. An angel never rolled the rock away. There's an earthquake, and then that rolls the rock away. There's an angel sitting outside of the tomb above the rock after it's been rolled away. But in none of them does it say an angel rolled the rock away. No, not in any of them.
Are you prepared to pay this money?
Yeah.
Okay, here it goes. There was a violent earthquake, for an angel Lord came down from heaven, going to the tomb, rolled back the stone, and sat on it.
Yeah, that's talking about the earthquake, not the angel.
Really?
Look, the earthquake rolled back the rock. The angel sat on
going
it.
to the tomb and rolled back the stone. That says that the angel came down and rolled back the stone and sat on it. It doesn't say anything about the earthquake rolling back the stone. It said, for an angel of the Lord came down from heaven and going to the tomb rolled back the stone. I've highlighted it in green so you can see it. Would you like me to zoom in a
I
little?
can't see the side chat.
It's not in the side chat, it's a screen share.
Shamos, it's a NIV version.
I'm on a mobile device.
Let me do a version check just out of curiosity, because NIV's I like NIV, but it goes phrase by phrase. I'm just curious to know what the other ones say. Just 1 second.
King James?
So
what verse is it? Matthew.
It's Matthew 28 verse 2.
28:2.
See, the American Standard also says for the angel of the Lord as well.
Yep. For an angel of the Lord descended from heaven and came and rolled back the stone from the door and sat on it.
See, sometimes it's tough because sometimes angel of the Lord could mean like a force, like kind of thing, and sometimes it's a physical presence. But the sat on it makes it sound like a physical presence.
Yeah. I mean, the thing to bear in mind here is that on other versions, because in this one it's the angel basically said, look, he's come and risen. Okay, look, see where he rose from. Now, in 2 other versions, it says that they went into the tomb and they found no body. I think it was no body, but there was one angel sitting, and in another one it's 2 angels standing. And again, rather extraordinary, it's like, oh, there was one. No, there was 2. No, one flew down from heaven. You know, like I say, for me, these are hugely contradictory to me. Have you found it yet, Shamos?
Yeah, I'm looking at the Greek right now. It says, give me 1 second. Yeah, it says, and behold, there was a great earthquake, and then it says hyphen. For the angel of the Lord descended from heaven, and the stone was rolled away from the door.
Which version are you reading? Which version are you reading?
I'm reading from the Greek. You can look at it. You can look at a Greek interlinear Bible or something if you want to.
So you're suggesting what I'm looking at on the screen right now is not what's said?
No, I'm just suggesting that from what I know of my study of the Greek, and I've studied the Gospels pretty extensively, it says, and behold, there was a great earthquake, and then there's a hyphen. It says, for an angel of the Lord descended from heaven, and the stone was rolled away, and he sat upon it.
Okay, so that's the angel
rolled away the stone. It seems like when they say, and behold, there was a great earthquake, and then they put a hyphen. And
yes, which separates it. What does a hyphen do?
Excuse me.
What does a hyphen do? It separates one part from another.
Yeah, it's a colon.
Right, so in this case, it's the angel of the Lord that rolled back the stone.
Yeah, and let's be clear here, it wasn't the Greeks that put the hyphen in either, so let's not be... It's not like the Greeks. The Greek version has a hyphen in it.
Well, so does the English version. 2 of them at least. So do you concede what I said was correct?
No, my understanding is that the earthquake is what rolled back the stone. The stone was in place until the earthquake.
I'm sorry, I think you're trying to worm out of paying that $100.
No, I mean this is what I said before we even got into it. I told you the earthquake is what rolled back the stone and just sat on it. That's what I see here in the Greek.
And yet I don't know. What does everybody else think? Does everybody else think that this says that an angel of the Lord descended from heaven and came and rolled back the stone from the door and sat on it? Does an earthquake sit on things?
All right, so why would you mention the great earthquake, right? So you can view this 2 different ways. You can view it as an angel came and he had a little stick and he's like, ugh, and he moves the stone, and he physically rolls it away. Or you could believe that the force, this is bringing up like a supernatural force, a presence that has moved and rolled the stone away. It depends on how you take this. I actually have always taken it as the earthquake. I'm going to be really honest. I'm not trying to be cute. I'm saying this is how I actually have viewed it, as the earthquake that rolls it away. Yeah, like the angel causing the earthquake, right? Mm-hmm. Are we denying the angel here, Shamos? Like at all?
No, I mean, there's an angel there. It says that, I mean, it seems that there was an earthquake and an angel descended from heaven. The stone was rolled away and he sat on it. So I'm not denying like there's an angel present in passage. I'm just another thing. What's interesting about this is what could we imply that there's some manner of differences, like that it's all false or something, that anything that has a difference or discrepancy or is not worded in the same way or has a difference.
For me, the
discrepancy.
I have no problem. Like Jesus most likely was a real guy. I think that I would argue when people say there's overwhelming evidence for it, but I would say the evidence that we have points to the fact that there's no evidence saying he wasn't. And unless it's something like groundbreaking that ever gets discovered, I mean, it's the working model in history among secularists or biblical historians that Jesus was a real guy. Like, they really don't argue about it much. It really is just guys like Robert Price and that.
Yeah.
And the amusing thing about it is, I actually agree with you. I do think that Jesus was probably a real guy. And like I say, I don't believe he was the son of God or anything like that. I think if he was anything, he was a normal man, probably a radical preacher who said the wrong thing and they crucified him for blasphemy.
Yeah,
You know?
and that wouldn't even be a remarkable thing either, because I mean, do you guys realize how common the name Yeshua was back in those days? They probably crucified a bunch of guys named Yeshua. So, it's really not even meaningful. But go ahead.
I got this thing. It's a parallel Gospels where it has like all the accounts side by side. So I'm at that part in Matthew 28. And then I'll tell you what they say. So we know what Matthew says. And behold, there was a great earthquake, for the angel of the Lord descended from heaven. The stone was rolled away, and he sat upon it. And then it says, here's what Mark says. And they said among themselves, who shall roll away the stone from the sepulchre? And then it says, and when they looked, they saw that the stone was rolled away. Okay, that was Mark's account. So Luke says, early in the morning they came into the tomb, bringing the spices which they had prepared, and certain others with them, and they found the stone rolled away. So Luke, they come up, the stone is already rolled away. John's account says, when it was yet dark, they came to the tomb, and they saw the stone taketh away from the sepulchre. That one's kind of ambiguous. Like, did they see it actually get taken away? I don't know. But I don't think that any of these are like actual contradictions. I think that it's possible that they are just leaving out those details. Like, for example, in Mark's account, who will roll away the stone? And when they looked, they saw the stone was rolled away. I mean, it could be that the angel did it, or the earthquake did it, or whatever, and he just left it out. And they just said, look, they just transitioned to the next part of the story for brevity or for whatever reasons, or whatever they wanted to emphasize. But I don't think there's any outright crazy contradiction in any of it.
You know something. I just looked something up just because you sort of talked about it, and I just wanted to double check on it. And I'm looking at the Greek translation here, and it says, and behold, an earthquake, there was great an angel indeed of the Lord, having descended out of heaven, and having come, rolled away the stone, and was sitting upon it.
For the angel of the Lord descended from heaven, and the stone was rolled away from the door.
Which version are you reading? Here, and it says, and behold, an earthquake, there was great an angel indeed of the Lord, having descended out of heaven, and having come, rolled away the stone, and was sitting upon it. That still sounds like what I said. You missed the bit and having come rolled away the stone. You still owe me $100, mate. I've got it on the screen share.
And there it is.
Wait a minute, there was a $100 bet going on here? Uh-oh.
Yeah. I said, one of the contradictions I said, you know, and like I say, the women I can understand, but for this one, I just think is an extreme. You know, it's a supernatural event, and only one gospel mentions it, and that's why I find it just wanting. And I said, you know, I said in one version, Matthew, in Matthew, it says, you know, that an angel descended, and you know, there was an earthquake. An angel descended and rolled away the stone. And he said, no, it doesn't say that. And he's
no. I'm getting this. It says
$100 on it.
No, this is what I'm getting. This is the straight Greek. It says kai idoi seismos. The word seismos is what we use to base the word seismic. That means earthquake. Ageneto megas algos gar curio katabas ek urion prosleton ekibusan ton lysion apo te suras kai ikainetho inde atui. And so, and as it goes from the translation, it doesn't say the angel rolled away. It just said when you translate it from
it does. The second kai, the one that's and, it says, and having come, rolled away the stone and was sitting upon it.
Yeah, I don't know what you're reading though, but that's not what I'm getting is it says this.
BibleHub.com/interlinear/Matthew/28 -2 HTML. Sorry, and that's got the Greek written with the English just underneath it in red. I'm currently screen sharing it. I don't know if you're able to see that.
No, I'm on a mobile device.
You should use Blue Letter Bible. It has way more resources. I'm just throwing that out there.
I didn't know. I just typed in Greek. You know, I put Matthew 28 in Greek as a Google search and came up with a couple. One didn't. One just gave the Greek.
Yeah, the director's translation I can get.
I don't speak Greek, so I don't read Greek. But I then stuck it into a different one, and that shows the Greek and the English text written underneath it. I don't know. For me, you know.
Yeah, the one that I have a downloaded PDF of all of them, so I don't know exactly where it came from. But where it says kai, that's the word and then aldoi, it means it could mean and look or watch or behold, and then seismos, which is quaking, and then ageneto, which is like became, occurred, could be used. Yep. The next word megas, which is what we use the word mega, it just means great. And then there's angelos, which is the word we use for angel. That could be just angel, messenger, whatever. And then gar, that's just a conjunction. It could just mean for or to or one of those things. And
Indeed.
then there's curio, which is the Lord. Okay, and then there's the word katabas, and then it says the angel descending, and then it says out of heaven, which would be ex aranoi, and then toward coming. Like I guess when you read all that, it would just say down from heaven he came would be.
Yep. Proselyton. It says is proselyton.
Yeah, it would just mean like
having come.
Toward
having
coming,
arrived,
approaching, something along those lines. And then it says and then it says the next word is apophason, which is
Rolled away.
yeah, no. It's a signative word which means and the stone was rolled away. It could be one translation, and that's the one that I have here. The stone was rolled away, and then it says rolled away from the door, which is thuros tai, and then it says and sat upon it. But the word sat upon it is in reference to a person because it has a certain ending to it. So I don't see whatever you're looking at. I don't have in what I've got.
Okay, well, I have exactly the same as you with the translation written underneath it. You know, you can have a look later if you wish.
If you want, leaking in the. Well,
I just looked it up in Strong's Greek, just so you know, because it's cited there, and it says to roll away is the definition. I don't speak Greek. I'm just going by Strong, so that's what it says.
Yeah. You know, like I say, it just for me, you know, for me it says exactly what I said it said, and you said it didn't, and you know.
I've always been under the impression through examining of the Greek that the reason the stone that covers the door is so large that's why the earthquake was manufactured, for the purpose to move the thing. And then the angel sat upon the door. I never ever in my time took it to mean that there was an earthquake and that didn't do anything, and then the angel was the one who rolled it away. I was always under the impression that when it says and the stone was rolled away, it was in reference to the earthquake, not the angel.
Well, I think the earthquake is like correlated with the arrival of God's messenger. It's like heralding is, you know, like earthquakes have a significance, right, in the resurrection story.
Yeah, that's right, Zach. Yeah.
I don't think it was just like thrown in. Like, I think you're kind of being a little dishonest on the, the opposing side of it.
Do you know what?
No, I mean, like, it seems like the author. What I'm saying is, it seems like the author put in an earthquake for the reason because that's what it would take to roll away some large stones. You know what I'm saying? Like, these stones were huge that covered these tombs, and then they say an earthquake. I mean, it could just be like, look, every time an angel appears, the earth and there's an earthquake. But that's not true. There's so many times where angels appeared in the Bible and it's not an earthquake. I always took the earthquake not as just the heralding of an angel, but actually the means in which the stone was rolled away. It's always how I interpret it.
Well, no, by herald, what I mean is not the arrival of the angel, but a messenger of God. Like, in this story, it has a significance, right?
Yeah, I agree. I think the significance is that's the means in which the stone was rolled away.
Like, I would be even accepting that the whole angel is a metaphor, right, of sitting upon it. But the point is that it does say it. I'm convinced that it says that an angel of the Lord came down and rolled away the stone. I think an earthquake occurred that marked the event, and the angel of the Lord come down
when it says
and rolled away the stone.
The Greek reads the stone was rolled away.
Well,
after the angel of the Lord came down. It doesn't say an earthquake happened, the stone was rolled away, and an angel of the Lord came down and sat upon it. It says an earthquake occurred, the angel of the Lord came down, and the stone was rolled away, and he sat upon it.
It says, and having come, rolled away the stone.
Yeah, I would agree with that translation. That there was a great earthquake, an angel descended, the stone was rolled away, and then he sat upon it. But it seems it doesn't say that he rolled away the stone because
But it makes
what
it
I'm
very
looking for,
it
how you
makes it
change
very
the-
clear that that the proceeding of the angel was necessary, because having come, like the stone rolling away was contingent upon the angel being there. It didn't occur when the earthquake happened. It occurred once the angel, came after the earthquake.
I mean, let's not forget there is the hyphen there, and the hyphen is used to separate one thing from another. It's a semicolon, actually.
I see it.
Not a
Yeah,
hyphen,
that's
sorry, it's a
it's
semicolon.
no, it's a colon.
Yes, it's a semicolon.
No, it's a regular colon. Yeah.
On this one, it's a semicolon. The one with the the little apostrophe shaped thing at the bottom.
Huh. Well, I've never interpreted it that way ever. And from my understanding of the Greek, it just seems.
Well, look, here's the thing. You said that it doesn't say that, and I said it does say that, and I think I demonstrated that it said that. I think that I demonstrated what I was saying is the case. If you've interpreted it,
Holy mother of fuck.
Yeah, you have a fucking jet engine in your room, Nadia. You're gonna want to mute.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I don't know. I gotta say, Shamos, I'm trying to be pretty neutral here, but I'm thinking, Cliff, will you take your payment in fish?
I really don't need fish. But unfortunately, I've got some stuff that I got to pay off at the moment, and $100 could be quite useful right now, especially since, hey, Shamos, consider yourself lucky. The pound was worth more recently.
Son, your ego is writing checks your body can't cash.
You know what, Shamos? Don't worry about it. I'm just pulling your leg. You don't have to pay me the money. Can you hear me, Shamos?
Hey,
Probably.
hey, can you guys hear me? Am I light?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Did you hear what I said?
I heard some of it. Give me 1 second. I need to refresh. I don't know why, but I'm lagging really bad. Give me 1 second. I'm just gonna jump out and come right back in.
Righto. I'm not going to torture him anymore.
Well, I believe you should be compensated.
I think compensation enough would be for him to admit that I was right in what I said. When I said it, my meaning behind it. Whether he agrees, that my meaning is correct, I did get what I said, through.
Can you guys hear me any better now?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay.
Okay, did you get the message? I don't want the money.
Okay. Well, I don't think that. Well, that's fine, but I don't think that it's been. I think that. I don't know. I don't know what you're looking at. I mean, I'll have to check that out on Bible Hub myself. But you know, like I said, from my understanding, I don't see that in the text. But whatever. Unless if it's enough for you, then we can just move on. But I wouldn't accept that as being demonstrated.
Do you at least concede that I believe I was correct? And I've got reasonable justification to do so.
Well, I mean, I think it's somewhat ambiguous when it says there was a great earthquake, an angel appeared, and the stone was rolled away. I don't think it's unreasonable to believe that what rolled the stone away was the angel, but I've just always been under the impression that it was the earthquake.
But do you concede that I am reasonable to have that position?
Yeah, I don't think it's unreasonable to conclude that. And like I said, it's fairly ambiguous when it says the stone was rolled away, and I guess the thing right before that was, and an angel descended from heaven, and the stone was rolled away. I guess it pretty much seems like. Well,
you're kind of missing that middle part, though. See, that's the weird thing. Like, there's that middle part that implies that it's contingent. The stone rolling away is contingent on the angel appearing, right? Because it marks when the angel comes, and then it says, having come, like once the angel's there, the stone is rolled away, not during the earthquake.
But that's part of where it says coming down or downstepping, which is katabas, which is descending, and then ex oronoi, which is out of heaven, and then he approaches, which would be prosloton, or coming forward, and then it says, and then right after that. So if you take that whole part together, it would say that descending out of heaven, an angel approaches, and the stone was rolled away.
Sure. So once the angel approaches, the stone is rolled away, and the angel sits on top of it. I mean, the angel could have done it with his mind. I don't know. I'm just saying that it says that it's like contingent upon the angel arriving. The earthquake happens prior, like before the angel's arrival. It marks the angel's arrival, right? There's an earthquake. The angel descends from heaven, then the stone is rolled away, and the angel sits on top of it. That's a sequence of events.
That's the point. That's the purpose of the colon or the semicolon, to say that look, it says, and behold, there was this great earthquake, and then colon, and it seems to say that these things happen simultaneously. An angel of the Lord appeared, descended from heaven, and the stone was rolled away at the time of the earthquake. Like, because otherwise they could have just
right. Like the events coincide with each other,
and then the stone was rolled away. But it doesn't read like that.
Listen.
Well, okay, no, we're good.
If I may, a punctuation indicates a pause. It's. I'm just reading off. I'm looking in the dictionary definition. Punctuation indicating a pause, typically between two main clauses, that is more pronounced than indicated by a comma. So it's a separation. It's basically splitting one thing from another.
No, I think what the purpose of the colon, or in your case, when the semicolon is saying, and then there was an earthquake, and then it's colon, and then it says it's trying to highlight what happened during the earthquake. There's a great earthquake. Well, all right, I find it all just totally fucking retarded at this point, but I mean, I don't think either one. I don't think you're going to convince me one way or the other, and I don't think I'm going to convince you. So spending any more time on this.
I find it interesting how. I'll tell you what. I will concede to you if you go through Bible Gateway. Send me a private message, okay, and I will concede to you if you can find 5 examples, and I think there's about 56 different translations of the Bible. If you can find 5 I will concede to you. That gives a clear indication that it was in reference to the earthquake.
I just hope, Shamos, bro, you know, all due respect, man, I hope you're not a gambling man, because these bets, they don't go your way usually.